I get to say the bitchiest things. You look gay in the shirt you were wearing last night, so you should burn it or come out of the closet.
They kind of get a little crazy. Going to school, for example, I would have to like go hide behind the corners and like just try to figure out if I'm gonna get raped.
My guest today is exploding all over the internet. Eden Riegel is here. She played a groundbreaking lesbian character on All My Children on Daytime, and now she's star of the popular web series Imaginary Bitches, which is getting millions of hits in its first couple of months on YouTube. And later in the show, actress Natasha Alam from The Women will join us. Great to have you here today, Eden.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, so some people have imaginary friends. I've heard of that, but you have imaginary bitches, is that
Yes. I have imaginary friends that say the kind of things that you wish that you could say, the kind of comebacks that you wish you'd thought of in the moment, and also some really bitchy, catty things that
yeah, because
that
I'm thinking of little kids. I never really heard of it that way. Yeah, I guess they were always like, you know, playmates or something.
Yes,
but they're just,
exactly.
But now I think a psychologist would say that what she's like projecting her own feelings onto the imaginary characters.
Exactly. Well, we're getting right in there, nice and deep. But yeah, she's a very, very sweet girl, and I don't think that she's in touch with, you know, that part of her personality at all. I don't think that she often says what she thinks. She says the nice thing to say and the polite thing to say, and so I think that she gets to a point where she
just calls in those friends for help when she needs them.
She has to call them in because she needs somebody to express all of the anger and resentment and frustration that she's holding deep inside, and boy, do they ever express it.
I liked the one where, without giving away too much, I guess, from the one, but I think the first episode where she has a great date with a guy. She thinks this could be possible, you know, boyfriend material or whatever they say. And then she says something like, you look kind of gay or something.
Oh, right. Well, we should explain that she's a single girl, and all of her girlfriends, she has these 3 very, very good girlfriends.
Right.
And they're like the 4 amigos, but all of her girlfriends are now in serious relationships, and she feels very left out. She feels like a singles girl in a couple's world, and they don't have time for her anymore. And she has, in the first episode where she creates the first imaginary bitch, she has this wonderful date with a waiter. She is just dying to tell her friends that she had 2 orgasms. I hope I can say that. But and she calls them up, and they're all busy doing adorable couples thing like couples pottery. And so she starts talking to somebody who isn't there, and we soon realize that she's created an imaginary friend to talk about her date with, but her imaginary friend is just saying the most scathing things about the guy and about her prospects of staying with the guy, and you know, what the imaginary friend is trying to do is say, you don't need any, you know, you don't need to get your sense of self-worth from a guy, that you should, you know, feel good about yourself, and guys are expendable, they come and go.
Well, and it does go from a hot date to down the tubes pretty fast after she throws a few zingers.
Well, and, once he realizes that she has an imaginary friend who's there, she seems pretty crazy. I think he actually says, you know, you've gone from really cute to bat, you know.
But I thought it was interesting though, because you're actually married.
I am married.
So you're not, I mean, I know this isn't, you're not the single person who's...
It's not a true life story.
Okay. But did you feel that way when you're single? Did you feel that your friends
you know, well, yes, and you sort of feel like, you know, I don't know if I'm ever going to find love, and you feel alone, and fortunately I never have to feel that way again. But my husband, Andrew Miller, created the series. Yes. He writes and directs all or most of the episodes,
so
directs all of them.
He pitched the idea to you?
Yeah, I was on location shooting a Judd Apatow film with Jack Black and Michael Cera. And if you know anything about the internet, Jack Black, Michael Cera, and Judd Apatow are some of the most prolific internet content providers out there. They just love doing this. They love getting together with their friends and, you know,
I
and
just
a
saw
camera.
that one with him and, was it Adam Sandler or Ben Stiller? Ben Stiller. And for Tropic Thunder, anyway, it was just crazy. Did you see that
sure.
crazy
Yes, I know. They do it all the time. You can go online and you can find a million very funny videos. And I think it taught me a lesson, seeing how excited they were about the internet and seeing that their projects that they've done. These guys are big great big movie stars and movie producers, and they don't need to be trifling with, you know, little projects on the internet. But the fact is that it is an incredibly, it's a great creative outlet. That if you have an idea these days in this time and age, you don't have to go to a studio or to a large company and pitch them in the idea and get it approved up and down the corporate ladder and give away creative control and try to get a lot of money.
And it helps when your actress, when your wife is an actress and the husband's a screenwriter.
And, when it's all in the family, it's even easier. But nowadays, if you have an interesting idea, you can say, you know, let's do this and get together with your friends and family. Fortunately, all of our friends and family are very, very talented, seasoned professionals, and put together a product that looks amazing. The quality is incredible, and stick it on the internet, and next thing you know, 2.5 million viewers have found you.
I mean, this thing, as I say, literally, I mean, it's just exploded. Do you have any idea that it was going to be this big?
There's no way to know. You hope that you do something that people like and respond to. And
did you advertise, or how do they find it? Because I mean, I'm just
I was on a soap, and so I have a fan following already, so I was able to do, you know, some interviews and get the word out through my fans. But more than that, the internet is a very democratic place. So people log on, and if they like what they see, then they can pass it on to their friends, and they can forward it on to people who might also be interested. And if they forward it on, and you know, their people forward it on and on and on and on, all of a sudden you have a pretty big hit on your hands. And I think, fortunately, like, every click counts, and if we want to keep doing this, then you know, we definitely need to have an audience. But it seems like people are responding to it and passing it on, and there's nothing more gratifying than seeing people like it and share it with their friends.
We'll be right back.
Are they talking about me? Yes. What are they saying? It's okay, I can take it.
Okay. Catherine is saying that you are a fat, selfish bitch who likes me being single because it makes you feel superior.
Doesn't mince her words. Fat?
She's a bitch. I told you, don't listen to her.
And we are back today with Eden Riegel from the Imaginary Bitches on YouTube. Okay, so you're 7 episodes into it at this point when we're taping, and you've got, what, a 13-week run planned? Is that
yes,
it?
we have the first season is 13 weeks, and then of course we hope to go on from there.
So, well, and as successful as it's been, I imagine probably will be back. And, you know, on IMDb, they already have it listed as a possible TV show. So is that something you're exploring?
Well, you know, the IMDb thing, they call it a TV show, but it's an internet TV show at this point. Yes, of course, I mean, we love the idea. I love playing this part. I don't think I have ever had or will ever have a more interesting role to play, because it is really cool to play, first of all, somebody who is so sweet, kind of like my character Bianca on All My Children, but I get to say the bitchiest things because I'm repeating what my imaginary friends say. I love doing comedy. I could keep doing this forever, and I just hope that we're able to. I'd love to go on and take it as far as it goes.
Do you have a lot of creative input as far as the bitchy things she's saying, or does your husband make all that up?
He makes everything up.
So you haven't said she should say?
I could never come up with this stuff in my wildest dreams.
So he's the bitchier one of the couple, huh?
Yes, and he thinks it's very funny to hear me saying bitchy things, because I don't often say bitchy things in my real life. So it sounds sort of funny and foreign coming out of my mouth. I don't curse a lot.
And you're actually working, one of the actresses that was your partner, the lesbian partner on All My Children, is actually in the series.
Elizabeth Hendrickson, who played Maggie, who was my best friend and then eventually girlfriend on All My Children, is one of my best friends on Imaginary Bitches. And there are also a lot of people that you'll recognize from television and film.
A lot of soap stars in particular?
Well, yes, we do have some actors from soaps. Connie Fletcher, who was on All My Children, is on our show. Greg Rickard, who is on Young and the Restless, was on our show. But also Jesslyn Gilsig, who's currently on Heroes and was on Nip Tuck for years, makes appearances on our show. Brooke Nevin, who was in this movie called The Comebacks, is on our show. And we just have incredible people doing it. And my sister, who's a professional film editor, she edits the shows and does a magnificent job.
I saw the family name.
My sister-in-law shoots the shows, and she does a fantastic job, and we're very lucky.
And this is really what they say, though, even though it looks slick, it's really, I guess, what you call a viral video or whatever, where, I mean, you shoot kind of anywhere, or where do you shoot it?
Well, we shoot in our homes, we shoot on the fly, we quickly take out the camera on the street and hope that no police officer comes by and shuts us down. Yeah, it's guerrilla filmmaking, and we don't have a huge budget. We have no budget, so so we try to make the best of what we have, and a lot of it is you have to be creative.
And is it self-funded or self-produced from you?
Yeah, totally. It's a labor of love.
Do you have a lot of people coming to you now saying they want to be in it?
Yes, we do. There's nothing more flattering. Andrew received a spec script. Somebody watched the show, a writer watched the show and was inspired by it and wrote a script for us. Well,
that's what I was wondering too, but so
you
don't think you're close to running out of ideas yet?
There are so many ideas. We're just dying to get out there and shoot more episodes, because it just sort of, he had such an incredible idea to begin with. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel, isolated because if they can't find the right relationship, or they feel lonely, or anybody who's had a conversation with themselves has had sort of an imaginary bitch. If you fantasize about anything, if you talk yourself out of eating a piece of cake, if you psych yourself up for a meeting, or if you want to say something, or you have a catty thought about somebody and then you sort of stuff it down,
she just says it.
You're living this world, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. They've caught on to it, and so it was a brilliant idea to begin with, and then I think it's just sort of, it just opens up, and it seems so obvious.
Well, you make a good point, I think, right in the series, that these days with MySpace and things like Second Life, we kind of almost have imaginary friends, or even imaginary lives in some cases anyway.
We actually did an episode with it where a guy was interested in Second Life, and so we had a lot in common because we both had these imaginary worlds.
He had some other interests too in the bedroom, as I recall. But
yes, you'll have to watch the episode. But yes, and we live virtually now. We have conversations on the internet. We make up personas for ourselves. All of this stuff is very closely related, and so I think we've sort of, Andrew has kind of tapped into this whole imaginary life that we're all living, and so people can relate. My character takes it to a whole other level, but.
Well, I just saw the one with the yoga instructor where she had her imaginary friends too, though, apparently.
She was able to read. She was actually a very gifted yoga instructor. She was able to read my imaginary friends through me. She was able to sort of read my soul, and they communicated to her with her through me. But it's endless. I think the best ideas seem spontaneous, and at the same time seem like obvious. It's like once you hear them, you go, oh, why hasn't anybody done that before? And to me, when I first read the scripts, that was the feeling I got, was that it was a really cool thing, and that people would get it, and they are.
And they are. Most of these are what, 5, 6, 7 minutes long?
Yeah, 5 to 7 minutes long. Generally.
How long does it actually take you to tape that?
We move very quickly. My soap opera experience is definitely helping. Where on soaps you shoot 100 pages a day. We don't quite go that fast, but we shoot. In 4 days we'll shoot 5 episodes, something like that. So it's pretty quick.
But you're still involved with All My Children.
I try to make it back as much as I can, as much as they'll have me, really. I make appearances now and again, and I'm hoping to go back again soon.
Has this kind of raised their interest in you, if I may ask that? I mean, just the fact that
No, they've always been very interested in me, fortunately, yeah. I have a wonderful relationship with everybody over at All My Children. They're like my second family, and if only the studios were here in LA, where I've made my life, it would make it a lot easier.
So you made a choice to be here in LA.
But I love going back, and I'm really ready to pay Pine Valley another visit.
Do they watch the show?
Oh yes, I get emails from Alicia and Rebecca, people on the show, saying that they've seen episodes and that they love it, and that they want to be in it. But next time they're out here, we'll try to get them all on.
Have a soap within the imaginary bitches or something.
Exactly. Well, they happen to be very, very talented, very good-looking people, so they meet all of our qualifications.
It's interesting though, you started acting at a very young age. You were
I did.
on Broadway
at age 7.
7.
Yeah, I was living in D.C. in Arlington, Virginia, and my brother and I auditioned for Les Mis, and we both got it, and went on tour for a year, and then went to Broadway, and I've just kept going ever since then.
But at one point, though, you thought you had given up acting?
Yeah, well, I went to college. I wanted to do something a little bit more reasonable. The business is
Which was?
very
Did you
difficult.
know what you
I was going to be a lawyer.
A lawyer.
Yeah, I wanted to, because then I could still perform, kind of. But yeah, so that was the path I thought I was on. But then, you know, it's in my blood.
And you got the call from All My Children.
I got the call from All My Children from Judy Bly Wilson, and she remembered me from when I was a kid acting and wanted me to play this part, Bianca, and I auditioned and I got it. So, and then I realized at that point that this is what I was meant to be doing. And
so no regrets about leaving college?
I can't possibly regret it, because I'm just having the time of my life and I'm doing what I'm meant to do. And you know, I'm having
Well,
a great
thank
time.
you very much for you and
you.
all the other, I don't know, who else might be here in the room with us,
yes,
if any of your
Catherine,
friends
Heather,
are here.
they've been very good today.
They have, I know, I was kind of worried there. Imaginary Bitches, Eden Riegel on YouTube. We'll be right back. And we are back. Joining me now is Natasha Alam. Her new movie is The Women. Great to have you here today, Natasha.
Hi. Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Well, my pleasure. Now, The Women, this is quite a cast here. You've got, what, Meg Ryan, Candice Bergen. I mean, how many other top actresses have we got
Benning,
in there?
Deborah Messing, Jada Pinkett
Carrie Fisher.
Eva Mendes.
Yes.
Clarice Leachman. Bette Midler, did you say it?
Bette Midler.
Yeah.
So what was it like working on that?
Oh wow, that was quite an experience. I felt like I was shooting 3 movies at the same time with all these amazing women. And Diane English.
Did you get to
director.
meet any personal heroes of yours, or?
Yeah, I was so thrilled to meet Annette Bening. She's just my favorite actress ever. And I, you know how sometimes you have your own opinion about great people like that, and then it's just like doesn't really, when you meet them, it's completely different. With Annette Bening wasn't like that. I was actually surprisingly happy that she was everything I expected of her was the truth, and even more. She was so, after all these years in movies, she was like so professional. She was like up there first for rehearsal, and yeah, there's a lot of energy.
Did you learn a lot from her, from being around that kind of a cast?
Yes, I've learned that it's always great to be nice to everyone, even little people, and have a great time.
Yeah, I know. That's what sometimes when you hear about the problems that people in Hollywood have, I think, what could be more cool than to have a successful movie career, and why can't people just enjoy it some, you know?
Exactly, because that's what brings more to you, if you're just enjoying every minute of your life, even if it's rough sometimes.
Right, not that it's perfect. But so when does this come out? When will we be seeing this?
This is coming out at the beginning of October. The premiere is going to be in New York, October 10th. And I'm looking forward to it.
And what's it about? What's the rough story here with all these women?
Well, it's a remake of an old famous movie, The Women, but it's going to be slightly different from the first one, because there's a lot more new character. Like my character is not in the old one. I'm playing a supermodel, lesbian supermodel with anger management issues, and dating Jada in the movie, and then cheating on her with Eva. So I'm like constantly yelling at Jada.
A very angry supermodel.
Yes, very angry.
You have a modeling background, by the way.
I do.
I don't know about the anger management side, but you have the modeling background at least, right?
I got that all together. Yes, I've been modeling throughout Europe and
all the big designers.
All the big designers, Versace, Gucci, you name it. It was a great experience, but I am so happy I'm out of that.
You always want to get into the acting?
Yes.
What didn't you like about the modeling?
Well, because first of all, I was trying to find myself, because when you're a teenager, you don't really know who you are and where you want and stuff like that. But so I always thought that I want to be a model until I did a commercial in Italy, and I realized that that's what I want, actually. That felt right, and it was just, it didn't feel empty. When I was modeling, I kind of always felt empty and not satisfied. And yeah, after that commercial, it changed my life completely.
And how old were you when you got into the modeling?
I wasn't that young, surprisingly enough, because I'm from Uzbekistan. It was just hard to get out of that country since it was part of USSR back then. So it took me quite a while to get out. So I started in my early 20s.
Early 20s, okay, okay. And what was it like growing up there?
That was, it was quite an experience. It's a Muslim country. So, and
you're not Muslim?
I'm not. My grandparents moved there in the 1917s when the Russian Revolution started. Well, let's just say it's tough with local people. They're very nice and friendly people, but sometimes they kind of get a little crazy. So like I would have problems with like going to school, for example. I would have to like go hide behind the corners and like just try to figure out if I'm gonna get raped or what's gonna happen to me.
So when you mean crazy, you mean crazy.
Yeah, it's like really kind of dangerous at some point, because they also like they're not very happy of like what you're wearing has to be long and covered up as much as if you're a woman. So if, for example, I've had comments, even if I had like a long skirt and maybe like a top like that, they would say you're not wearing enough clothes and you're a whore, obviously, because of that. And if they see you one more time like that, you're gonna be killed, basically.
Wow.
So
So
threats like that.
Couldn't wait to get out of town?
Yeah, but other than that, actually, they're very nice people. If you like, if
they don't kill you for the way you're dressed, they're very nice people.
If, like,
Gotcha.
If you come to the neighbors, ask for like a little bit of a
I'm going to cross. I'll just cross that out the list here. Places I'm visiting, but okay. Of course, I don't wear too many short skirts anyway. But
no, but let me tell you the good part. Like if you just walk there for like ask for an egg or something that you're cooking and you don't have on hand, they would put you down to the table and they say eat. They bring everything that they have, all the best food that they have, and even start cooking for you. And they won't let you go until you taste everything. And
they'll give you the egg and they'll feed you, but if you've got a short skirt on, they'll kill you. Okay,
pretty much like
that's hospitality, the Russian way, you know. It's
no, he's Uzbekistanian.
But you end up playing a lot of Russian characters, right? Because everybody assumes because of the accent they think that you're
Eastern European, mostly. Sometimes I get to play French. That's fun.
So how did you go from Uzbekistan and watching the way you were dressing but eating a lot of eggs to you were married to the grandson of the Shah of Iran and our Iranian royalty? Yeah,
that was quite a funny story. I met him when I was in south of France. They just started modeling in Italy, and I haven't learn English yet, so I basically did not speak a word of English. And my agency took me on vacation for like over the weekend to south of France, and I meet this amazing guy, and he kind of did not look like a prince, because he was like always wearing, like, he had like really long hair, like hardly ever shaves, and like beat up t-shirts and
the American
holes.
look or something, yeah.
Yeah, well, he was a musician as well. He is a musician, so he looked like one. And when one of his friends told me that he's Prince, I was kind of laughing. I was like, yeah, right. Did you see him? He's got holes in his pants. Ha, ha, ha. He's not a prince. And then we start dating, dating for like a year. And I realized that he is actually part of royalty when I went to meet with his grandmother, Princess Ashraf in New York. Wow, that was quite an experience. Everyone bows, kisses her hand, calls her Your Highness. Everyone is quiet. You can't say anything unless you're being spoken to. So that was quite...
so even now that the family's out of power, but he's still
keep the traditions.
And your title was Princess Natasha, or what were you?
Well, actually, it's funny, in England, to live in England, it goes by your husband's name. So when I received invitations to go like to party with the royal family of England, it was, my name was...
You were hanging out with the royal family in England?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you live there, you have to.
Oh, you have to.
Right.
You just stopped by Buckingham Palace and asked the Queen how it's going?
No, we went to, we hang out a lot of with Prince and Princess of Michael of Kent. So that was fun. And so my name was, you ready for this?
Yes.
Is Princess Amir Ibrahim Alam Pahlavi.
I believe you. I can't repeat it, but I believe it.
I know. Sometimes I'm like have trouble to repeat that.
But I should say you're divorced now.
I'm divorced. Yes.
Is that because you're no longer a princess?
No, you know what? I've heard that you keep the title until he remarries. That's what I've heard somewhere.
He didn't remarry yet, right?
So I'm a princess. No, he didn't remarry yet. No.
Well, this is Natasha Alam. Her new movie coming out this fall will be The Women. Thank you very much for being here today. I sure appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.